We have 2 meetings today, so I think we had better get on with it. As I've just realised that we've got 2 meetings today.
I tell you.
I obviously have suppressed that particular information in my mind. Anyway, so let's get on with the Precept meeting. Do we have apologies for absence? Yes. Councillor Collins, Councillor Page. Okay, thank you. Are we happy? Councillor White, so are we
Accepted.
to accept these? Yeah. Okay, excellent. Anybody got any declarations of interest that we don't already know about? No, excellent.
All those who live in the town all have dispensation to vote on this.
Thank you. Yes, I kind of surmised that much. Otherwise, we can obviously dispense or disperse this meeting and never go on. So, but thank you for pointing it out. Okay, point 3, budget and Precept 2023 to 2024. None of it in these appendices and in the town clerk's report could come as a surprise to anybody. But Claire, is there anything that you would like? I know you've talked us through this twice before, but there might be particular points that you'd like to stress.
As discussed, we have talked through, every committee has looked at this in detail, looked at potential cost savings, discussed what we can do with the cemetery, and this is the final point that we're at. I appreciate as a percentage it sounds very bad, but it is 63p a week, £2.75 a month of an increase. Next year is going to be again another volatile one. The interest rate is still running very high. The inflation rate is still running very high. We don't know what the next year brings. So this is not a precept that has been cut to the bone to leave us potentially in a different situation next financial year. But it is prudent and realistic. And as I said, it has been discussed since I think we first made it onto a committee agenda back in September. But this is where we are. If anybody has questions or things that they would like to know from me, then please.
I just have just a small amendment, and where it says 63 pence per week, can we add 63 pence per week per household? Because it sounds a lot better per household, because it could be 2 adults, 3 adults, and if you spread that 63 pence, it's even lower. So if you just put down 63 pence per week per household.
It is per band D house.
But yes, and you would be better. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Do we have to vote on that, or is it accepted, or?
It does say in the amendment.
Yeah, it just says on the top.
In that it is per band D household.
Yes.
But certainly when we sort out the publicity, etc.
Yeah, yes, please.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Anybody wishing to speak? Now is your opportunity. Yes, fine.
How does the what's it called, JPEG, the Joint Purpler Group?
Yes.
How do they perceive the slight shortfall?
This will be a discussion with ourselves and the internal auditor. We are slightly below an ideal general reserve. However, we do have money prudently put in earmark reserves specifically for big capital projects. So things such as our playgrounds, we have money put aside because we know eventually we are going to have to replace those. So where we are tight, and I certainly wouldn't want to reduce it by any more in a volatile year, I am confident that with the amount of earmark reserve we have as well, that the auditor will be happy.
And it won't affect our whatever we have, gold status,
which we don't
Council.
have at the moment. It is a very small amount.
Okay.
For the budget of our size. I would hope that the auditor will be pragmatic.
Thank you. Councillor Offenborn.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good evening, everybody. I just want to once again commend our clerk and deputy clerk for their efforts put towards this precept, and also all our members who have sat on the various committees. I do confirm that there's been a lot of effort put into this precept, and I know that it's something that we wouldn't do if we've had an opportunity. We wouldn't increase our rates by 18%. But I think there's something that's happened, which I think it's important that we take into consideration, and that is the results of that consultation we did with the residents. This happened prior to the resource committee meeting, wherein this same budget and precept propositions were discussed. And I think the result of that consultation is quite important that we take it into consideration at this precept meeting. And what is that? My understanding from the response from the residents on the second question was their reluctance, although, sorry, can you hear me? Am I still audible?
I can hear you, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, yes. So whilst the first question was clear and there's sufficient support for our major project, it was also evident that there is a cost of living crisis right now, which all our residents are going through. And I do respect my fellow councillor who said 65p per 65p per household won't sound that much. Well, that's 65p upon another amount that people don't have. So that 65p is sufficient to turn people from black to red when it comes to their household budgets. What I will be proposing, and I hope my co-councillors would consider this, because I know I can't vote on it, but I think it would be good for me to mention it, as if we can look once more at the budget, particularly our major projects in there, and see if that can be suspended until next year. And why do I say this? One, we know that the cost of the primary reason for inflation has been the war in Ukraine and post-COVID and every other thing that's happened, which hopefully would ease as time goes on. I've also looked at other authorities, particularly the central government as well, and seen that certain projects have also been pulled back on.
May I ask you to come to the point, because the 3 minutes are practically up?
Well, my point is, Madam Chair, is that it'll be very important if we can look at the budget again, the precept proposition, in light of the consultation we've had, and see if we can make adjustments to the proposed increase of 18% and reduce that to ensure that it's more accommodative to our residents. That's my, I can't propose it, but that's my recommendation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, as unfortunately, Councillor Osibogun is not in the room, he is not legally allowed to make a proposal. Therefore, I'm asking whether anybody else wishes to make this proposal or propose this amendment, or actually an unpicking of the. Okay, that is not the case. I'm seeing quiet faces, certainly nobody nodding. Therefore, we are not proposing to look at the budget again. The one thing that, if I may, as a councillor, since nobody's got their hands up, say is that Councillor Osibogun is not entirely wrong in the sense that some people might look at the budget and say, but we just told you we didn't want a 7.9% rise on the precept, and maybe conflating this with the precept rise that we are proposing today, which of course has nothing to do with the cemetery. Therefore, what I would suggest is that, or what I would propose is that we think very carefully on how we word this in our publicity afterwards on that. Yes, Councillor Harvey.
Yes, I agree that this is going to need to be explained carefully to the council taxpayers in our parish, for sure. But let's be very clear, the page of consultation that went out did explain that the extra money was for the extra amount needed because of various costs have risen and so on. There was no hint within that consultation page that this would mean that the project would not go ahead. It explained that very clearly, and people gave their informed response to that. So I think we're on very solid ground. with regards to all the budget that the town clerk and her team have prepared. And it is entirely consistent with the consultation, as I was using the word finesse, entirely consistent, and finesse is the result of the consultation. Well,
Thank you. Councillor Stopbury.
With the proposal in there, we have to be very careful with the long-term finances of the council. The situation that the council finds themselves in are a result of inflation, result of cost of everything going up, and we have to pay our staff appropriately, and that will be a national aid. When we went to the beginning of this, and Clark carefully, as she stated earlier, went to every committee and looked for opportunities to save, and some of the committees were able to reduce their interest rate rise, which is stated in the figures. To go beyond that means that you start cutting at things that you can do, people that you employ, and opportunities to do something for what we hope is a temporary situation in the economics of this country. And the town clerk has said that she believes his Precpet debtors are completely exposed for the next year budget, because that in itself is going to be difficult. But I, for one, as a local member, feel that the conversation I would not want to have is with residents in 12 to 18 months, 2.5 years' time, saying that I'm really, really sorry because we didn't precept enough money and we haven't able to even do the barest amount of works on the cemetery, that we no longer will be able to accept you into a Buckingham cemetery. Having gone through a topple test, as I said in the previous meeting, when the residents, and we were not the burial authority, though we owned the cemetery, a very difficult meeting. I wouldn't wish that on any member of this council, particularly the officers, to have to receive that. So I hope that people see it in the same way I do. And I think that with the points made online, every one of those meetings was freely available for any council to attend.
Thank you. Councillor.
Thank you. Yeah, following on from what Robin's just said, really, you know, these budgets have been through every committee 3 times. Members can attend those meetings, as Robin's just said, but also they can join the committee if they do want to vote on that committee. They've got that option as well. So, and the fact that the budgets were unanimously voted for at our last resources committee, I think it's a bit unfair now to say that we need to look through the budgets after they've just been unanimously agreed at resources, and again voted through at our last extraordinary full council meeting. So I'm happy to put forward the recommendations that the town clerk has put here, and think we should move to the vote.
Okay. So you're proposing we need a seconder, Councillor Mahi. And can we go to the vote then, please? This is, I believe, I was just going to say this will have to be a recorded vote. And so all of those in favour.
That's going to be councillor present in the room.
Okay. So that was quick. Thank you all for your comments, for your renewed comments on why we are accepting this or why we were voting everywhere.
Taking on board very good points made in the meeting by councillors around the Don Hartley and Councillor Donahue around the reasons why we are where we are. I hope we can finesse the communications about this, and that would be, because it's very important that this is, we understand the communications go out well, and I'm sure the office is capable of finessing that around the realities of where we find ourselves. And of course, none of us wish to do what we're doing. But I just hope we can do that, and the communications, when they go out, that all members of the council see that communication as it goes out, so that if we're questioned about it, we are responding appropriately to it, to what was said by our legal officer, the town clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Howard.
Just to check with the town clerk, we passed one motion. Do we need to pass two? Because on the agenda, we talk about agreeing the budget and agreeing the precept. They're inextricably linked. But formally, do we need to vote for the precept as well as the budget?
I have listed it as a fourth item, so I think for belt and braces, it would be ideal if we could.
Okay, so in that case, would somebody like to propose?
It should be someone different.
Yeah,
Propose the precept.
councillor Harvey, and to second, councillor Ralph had his hand up first, I think. In that case, can we go to the vote? Again, this is a recorded vote. Everybody in favour?
So that is to resolve the precept as, and that is every councillor in the room.
Okay, thank you. Right, in which case, I have under item 5 no chair's announcement, except that there is an extraordinary council meeting going on straight away, which we all know, but it's kind of so your chair is exceedingly well prepared, and the dates of the next formal meetings are Interim Council on Monday, the 27th of February, and full council on Monday, the 20th of March. Thank you very much, and I am concluding this meeting, which means I can now switch over to the other agenda just as well.
Are there fewer information to fill out? I'm going to stop this meeting and restart a new one just for YouTube.
Okay.
Clarity, so